Welcome to Southeast Asia. It is composed of 11 countries and impressive diversity in religion, culture, and history. It's Brunei, Burma, Cambodia, Timor-Leste, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. It is one of the most dynamic areas of the world economically, a factor which largely accounts for its growing international significance. Southeast Asia presents a unique combination of the many local cultures and traditions that link diverse communities across boundaries and borders. The region's cultural heritage is a multi-patterned with vibrant colors, a melting pot of delicious flavors and tastes, medley of enchanting melodies and movements, magnificent monuments, and memory of past glories. Southeast Asia's dishes and delicacies offer a multiple sensory experience. During the 1500s and 1600s, the Europeans were able to take control of international trade of Asia, thereby diverting their profits from trade to Europe. As a result, the Europeans become stronger, and while Asian empires and kingdoms become weaker. By the 1800s, the Europeans were in position to establish their authority over much of Asia, particularly the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. Among the European colonizers are Portugal, Spain, the Netherlands, Great Britain.
Vietnam, a socialist republic nation of today, has emerged only since the second half of the 20th century, after great hardship and much bloodshed. It all began in 1858, when the French troops landed in Vietnam to colonize the nation. Colonialism is a process of building and maintaining of colonies in one territory by the people from another territory and exploiting it economically. Their belief was that Vietnam was a backward country, and it was the responsibility of the French to modernize it. China still had control over some parts of Vietnam from the dynastic era, but the French wanted maximum power. After the French Indochina War, the French gained control over the regions of Tonkin and Annam, which led to the formation of French Indochina in 1887. Indochina refers to the region in Southeast Asia. In fact, the modern-day countries of Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos formed the Indochina. Trade had flourished in old Vietnam, and it was linked with the maritime Silk Route, which was favorable for the exchange of goods, people, and ideas. Silk Route refers to an interconnected network of trade routes that connects Eastern, Southern, and Western Asia with the Mediterranean world, including North Africa and Europe. The French had established economic and military dominance over Vietnam and exploited its natural resources such as the River Mekong of Vietnam to facilitate their trade and transportation. From a business perspective, the French wanted to increase cultivation and movement of goods. Therefore, they built canals, earthworks, and drained lands in the Mekong Delta using forced labor. The vast irrigation developed by the French was used to increase the rice production for the international market. By 1931, Vietnam became the third largest exporter of rice in the world. They also constructed a railway network to connect the northern and southern parts of Vietnam with China. Another railway network linked Vietnam with Siam, or the present-day Thailand. The concept of colonialism generally
Besides education, there are many other social aspects of Vietnam that have been imprinted by French culture, such as the emergence of Catholic religion, French architecture, design buildings, and French ingredients in Vietnamese cuisines. Despite the varied landscape of Vietnam, all the cuisines contains a brilliant balance of aromatics, heat, sweetness, sourness, and fish sauciness. As well as with other cuisines, it is all about the yin and yang, the sweet and the salty, the cooling and the warming, the fresh and the fermented. Vietnamese food is known to be both healthy and robust in flavor. Thanks to generous combinations of first herbs, green, paired with rice, noodles, seafood, pork, and beef. While many cities such as Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh offer plenty of fine dining venues like 5-star hotel restaurant, take-out extravagant settings. Some of the best and most authentic Vietnamese delicacies are actually found at roadside eateries, vibrant street markets, and humble local restaurants. With its modest flavors for perfect harmony ingredients, Vietnamese cuisine has captivated not only foreign tourists but also world-famous chefs. Some of them even said that Vietnam is a gastronomic paradise of Southeast Asia. Some of the famous people and chefs include Anthony Bourdain, Andrew Nguyen, Further Kuhn Franklin, Gordon Ramsay, Jamie Oliver, and ever the former President of the United States, Barack Obama. Vietnamese dishes is also on the list of world best-known foods such as the World Reunion, Telegraph, and Saturn Travel, as well as several travel websites.
Outside the noodle shop, the presidential limo, the Beast, sat conspicuously, while inside the president dined casually, sitting on those blue plastic stools with a beer in hand. Celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain shooting for his TV series, praising the president's chopstick skills before picking up the $6 tab for the leader of the free world. It was a low-key end to an historic day.
I was able to discover at this street Vietnamese restaurant here in Manila, Poa in Greenbelt, one Makati, the coffee in Salcedo Village, Makati City, and Propaganda Vietnamese Bistro in Greenbelt 5, Makati City. It was good experience, able to explore some of the dishes, bread, their drinks, their coffee. All I can say is, as the audience, I will rate Propaganda Vietnamese Bistro. For the food and dishes, I would say Poa. For the bread and coffee, I would say the coffee, because it is has breath of fresh air. Vietnam was part of French Indochina, a colonial position which also includes Laos and Cambodia. Even now, more than 60 years later, it's easy to find French influences throughout the region. Those years under French control, both and rapid changed, forever leaving the mark on Vietnam, to be good and bad. But despite the efforts of Vietnamese government to erase anything they perceived to be out of line with their image of a unified and independent Vietnam, French culture is too deeply ingrained. It is part of the fabric of Vietnam now.